discuss in this video. So let us see the basic definition of the surveying. This is the simplest and oldest form of land surveying in which only linear measurements are taken. Okay, so in which the whole area is divided into a network of triangles and trapezoids. Next, situations when chain survey is adopted, when large scale mapping is desired. Okay, so if the scale of the map is very less, okay, so you can go for topo sheets or maps, etc. But if you want the scale is large, okay, so in that case you have to prefer chain surveying. Okay, usually land surveying is preferred in such a case only. Especially chain surveying is preferred when the area to be surveyed is small, when the ground is flat with no much undulations and all. Okay, why? Because the chain surveying is less accurate. Okay, that's the reason why it is adopted only when the area is small and even if the ground is flat without much undulations or up and downs. Next, purpose of chain survey. Okay, so the purpose of any survey is to prepare the plan or a map. Okay, to calculate the area of the plot, to collect the necessary data for exact description of the land, to demarcate the boundaries, for division of land into smaller units. Okay. Next, principle of chain survey. This is very important. The basic principle of chain surveying is triangulation. Okay, in which a plot is divided into number of triangles and trapezoids, and especially the triangles are to be well conditioned triangles such that no interior angle of the triangle is less than 30 degrees and none is more than 120 degrees. It means the three interior angles inside any triangle must lie between 30 degrees and 120 degrees. Such triangles are called as well conditioned triangles. If any angle is less than 30 or more than 120, that triangle is called as ill conditioned triangle. Okay, so the basic principle of chain surveying is triangulation. Triangulation is the process of division of an area into number of triangles and trapezoids. So individually the area of each figure is found. Okay, so here you can see the pentagon ABCDEA. Okay, so the pentagon has been divided into three triangles like this. So individually the triangular areas are found and finally they are all sum up or added up to get the total area. Okay, so this is how the chain surveying is carried out, and these are all the instruments used in the chain survey. Let us discuss each about them individually. Okay, so the chain, okay, this is an instrument used for measuring distance. Okay, there are various types of chains here. Okay, so here a few chains are appears to be similar, but it varies in the lengths and the number of links. Okay, so the first chain is metric chain. It is available in 5, 10, 20 and 30 meters. Okay, next, Gunter's or surveyor's chain. It is 66 feet long and of 100 links. Next, engineer's chain. It is of 100 feet long and 100 links. Next, revenue chain, 33 feet long and 16 links. Next, steel band or band chain. It appears to be like this. It is available in this lengths, 20 meters or 30 meters lengths. Okay. So this is the metric chain. As we have already seen, it is available in various lengths like 5 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, etc. Okay, so it is made with galvanized steel wire of 4 mm diameter. Each meter is divided into 5 links of 20 centimeters each. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, so this is the handle. Similarly, on the other end of this chain, you have another brass handle like this. So here we can see. So on the two ends of the chain, you have two brass handles with swivel joint. Okay, here we can see a swivel joint. Okay, it means if you rotate this, this chain won't turn, only this will turn. Okay, so that kind of joint is called as swivel joint. Okay, so 5 links comprises of 1 meter length. Okay, so the length is to be measured from end to end. Okay, it means that the length also includes the length of the handle. Okay, so the length is to be measured from this end till the other end. Okay, so from here to here the length is to be measured. Okay, so here the 20-meter chain has been shown. Okay, so 20 meters is from the end of the handle till the end. Okay, so the length is to be measured from end to end. Okay, and each link length is 20 centimeters. Okay, like that 5 links is equals to 1 meter. Okay, so 20 centimeters like that, this is 20, this is 20, like that, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so till from here to here this is 1 meter, and at 1 meter you have a ring like this, a brass ring, and after 5 meters, 10 meters and 50 meters you have tallies like this. Okay, here you can see. Okay, so if a tally has a single projection like this, a single nosing kind of thing like this, that tally will be at a length of 5 meters on the chain. Okay, so if it has two projections like this, that will be the tally at 10 meters length. Okay, so if the same tally is having three projections like this, okay, so that will be at the 15 meters length. Okay, so that's the thing. If it is having one projection, it means it is at 5 meters length. Okay, if it is having two projections like this, it is at 10 meters length. If it is having three projections like this, that is at the 15 meters length. Okay, so why these tallies and brass rings are provided? In the sense, in order to calculate the length with ease. Okay, in order to calculate the length in an easy manner, these tallies and rings are provided in the chain. Okay, next, tape. Similar to the chains, tapes are also of many kinds based upon the material with which they are made up of. Okay, cloth or linen tapes. Okay, steel tapes, invar tapes. Okay, fiberglass tapes, metallic tapes. Like that, we have various types of tapes available. Okay, so these are also used to measure the length. Okay, next, ranging rods. Okay, so the ranging rods appears to be like this, and offset rod appears to be like this. The only difference is the offset rod is similar to ranging rod, but instead of the flag it will be having a hook. Okay, here it is having a flag and here it is having a hook. Okay, it is not a must that the ranging rod should always having a flag like this. If you want, if you are doing survey for a longer area, for a wider areas, okay, so you have to use flags like this. Otherwise you can use the normal ranging rod. Okay, so the height of the ranging rod will be 2 to 3 meters. Okay, and it will have alternate bands of black or white or red colors. Okay, and each band length is 20 centimeters. Okay, and the hook provided on the offset rod is to pull or push the chain. Okay, this hook. Next, cross staff. Okay, cross staff is an instrument used for setting perpendicular offset. Okay, so for suppose a line is there, in order to set a perpendicular line to that line. Okay, so that perpendicular line is called as offset in the chain survey terminology. Okay, so in order to set that, you can use that cross staff. Okay, so you have different types of cross staffs. Okay, this is called open cross staff, this is called as French cross staff, and this is called as adjustable cross staff. Okay, so basically offset is not the perpendicular. Okay, offsets are of different types. Okay, perpendicular offsets are there and oblique offsets are there. Perpendicular offset means it is making 90 degrees angle with the line. Okay, so with the open cross staff we can only form the lines which are perpendicular to the existing baselines or any survey line. Okay, and here using French cross staff, you can even, along with the 90 degrees angle line, you can even set a line of 45 degrees angle. Okay, and here using adjustable cross staff, you can set any angle, okay, between two lines. Okay, next, arrows. Okay, these are used for marking the ends of a chain during the process of chaining. Okay, so these are of 400 mm, okay, 40 centimeters length. Okay, and they are circular at the top. Okay, in order to handle them, okay, the diameter will be 50 mm, it means 5 centimeters, and it appears to be like this, and it is made up of black enameled steel. Next, pegs and plumber. Okay, so pegs are of timber and even of steel. Okay, so the length varies from 120 to 600 mm. These are driven into the ground to mark the instrument stations. Okay, next, plumber. Okay, it appears to be like this. It is used to define the vertical line while measuring the distance along the slopes. Okay, so it represents as the verticality. Okay, suppose if you insert a ranging rod somewhere, okay, so it may bend also due to some air or something. Okay, in order to check the verticality, you can use the plumber, and even it is used to check the verticality of the lines, okay, while chaining across the slopes. Okay, next, instrument used for setting out right angles. Okay, so far we have seen the cross staffs. Not only the cross staffs, we have a few more instruments using which we can set the right angles. Okay, so cross staff we have already seen. So optical square, prism square, and side square. Okay, using these instruments also we can set the right angles to a line. Next, terminology used in chain survey. Okay, so let us move ahead. So main stations. Okay, here we can see the main stations are the stations taken along the boundary of an area. Okay, so here we can see A, B, C, and D. Okay, these are called as the main stations or main survey stations. Okay, so these are along the boundary of the area. Okay, and the lines joining the main stations are called as main survey lines. Okay, so the lines AB, BC, CD, and AD. Okay, these lines are called as main survey lines. Okay, next, subsidiary stations. Okay, so the stations which are on the main survey lines or any other survey lines are known as subsidiary stations. Okay, so these are represented by S1 and S2 over here. Okay, so these are joining the main line, main survey line, which is also called as the baseline, with the apex of the triangles or the main survey stations. Okay, so here the S1 is drawn from the main survey station C onto the baseline, and S2 has been drawn from the main survey station A onto the baseline. Okay, so these are drawn to divide the entire plot into triangles or trapezoids. Next, tie stations. These are also subsidiary stations taken on the main survey stations. Okay, tie lines are taken to locate the interior details. Okay, so these here we can see the T1 and T2. Okay, so the T1 and T2 are the tie stations, and the line joining two tie stations are called as tie lines. Okay, these are all taken to locate the interior details inside the plot. Next, main survey lines are the lines which are joining the main survey stations, and baseline. Okay, this is the main line. Okay, along which, about which the framework of the survey is set. Okay, so here BD is the baseline. Next, check line, tie line. Okay, so the check line is CS1 and AS2. Okay, so usually those are the lines which are joining the main stations with the subsidiary stations. Okay, so these are all the terminology used in chain survey. Let us move ahead. Operations in chain surveying. Okay, so these three are the main operations that involve in the chain surveying. Okay, the first one is chaining, ranging, and offsetting. Okay, so these operations are not separately done. Okay, these three are simultaneously done in the chain surveying. Okay, let us learn about them. So the first one is chaining. Okay, so the chaining involves the following operations. Okay, so basically the chaining is taking measurement with the help of chain or tape. Okay, if you want to measure a length with the help of chain or a tape, okay, that process is called as chaining. Okay, the chaining involves the following operations. Okay, first of all, you have to fix the stations, the main stations and the subsidiary stations, and after that you have to unfold the chain and you have to do the ranging for straightening of the line. After that you have to measure the distance and finally folding the chain. Okay, so in the process of chaining, ranging came. Okay, like that. Okay, simultaneously these processes are done in the chain server. Next, okay, chaining, fixing the station. Okay, so far we have seen the stations, the types of stations. Those are marked with the pegs and ranging rods. Okay, so unfolding the chain. Okay, so in order to open a chain, first of all we have to hold the two brass handles in a left hand, and the entire bunch of the chain is to be held in the right hand, and it is to be thrown forward in order to open it. Okay, and we have to do the ranging, and finally we have to fold the chain after measuring the lengths. Next, ranging. Okay, so this is the process of establishing intermediate points on a straight line. Okay, so if there are 2 points, for suppose A and B, if you join those 2 points with any line, that line will be a straight line. But if you join 3 points with a line, that line may not be a horizontal line. Okay, in order to make it horizontal, that means in order to bring the third point in line with AB, we have to do the ranging. And this ranging is of two types. Okay, direct ranging and indirect ranging. Okay, direct ranging is again of two types, that is ranging by eye, and the second one is ranging by line ranger. Let us see the first one, ranging by the eye. Okay, so here you can see A, B are the two main stations and C is one subsidiary station, such that C is to be in line with A and B. So in order to bring the point C or the station C in line with the line AB, we have to do the ranging. Okay, so the person over here has to guide this person in order to bring this ranging rod onto the line AB. Okay, this process is called as ranging. Okay, and not only the one point, you can bring n number of points onto the line AB. Okay, so after the C, another point D has been brought onto the line AB. Okay, here you can see. In the ranging, so here you can see these two persons are very far apart. Okay, so in order to guide this person such that he has to bring this ranging rod exactly in the line with AB. Okay, he has to use some hand gestures in order to guide this person. Okay, so those hand gestures are listed in this table. Okay, so the signal by the surveyor and what does it mean. Okay, so these are all the hand gestures. Okay, so rapid sweep with the right hand. Okay, so let us see the first one, rapid sweep with the right hand. Okay, which means move considerable towards left. Okay, so it means that, okay, so if you sweep the right hand, how can it mean move towards left? Okay, you are showing right hand, but you are asking the other person to move the left. Okay, so how it happens in the sense, okay, if you see, if you observe carefully, the right hand of this person will be opposite to the left hand of this person. Okay, so the right hand side of this person will be the left hand side of this person. Okay, so in this we have to realize. Okay, if we once realize this, then we can able to understand this hand gestures very easily. Okay, so next, both hand above the head and brought down. Okay, if you take both hands above the head and brought down, it means that ranging is correct. Okay, so the ranging rod has been brought to the exact place. Okay, so now both are extended horizontally and brought down. It means that fixed the ranging rod over that place. Okay, so like this. Next, the second one is ranging by line ranger. Okay, so line ranger is a light and easy instrument which can be used for ranging. Okay, so in the direct ranging itself, instead of a naked eye, okay, ranging with the eye, you can do the ranging with the line ranger. Okay, so it consists of two plane mirrors, okay, placed one above the another. Okay, so two mirrors are placed one above the another. Okay, so the upper prism is movable and the lower prism is fixed. Okay, so this lower prism is fixed and the upper prism is movable. Okay, so suppose if you want to range these 2 points, okay, so you have to place the ranging rod at point C and you have to see through this. Okay, so if at all the ranging, okay, the line ranger is at the exact point on the line AB. Okay, so the two ranging rods at point A and point B appears to be like this. Those two ranging rods form a single vertical line. Otherwise, they are far apart like this. They are separated like this. Okay, so you have to move either away or towards this line, or either this way or that way, such that somehow you have to reach a point such that if you see through this line ranger, these two ranging rods present at A and B should appear like this, in this manner. Okay, those two ranging rods must form a single vertical line like this. Okay, so like this, using line ranger you can do the ranging. Okay, so next, so here you can see, so you have to take the use the line ranger like this. Okay, so you can view both ranging rods through this. Okay, if they are separated, you have to move such that, okay, those two ranging rods form a single vertical line like this. Okay. Next, indirect ranging or reciprocal ranging. Okay, suppose if the land is not flat. Okay, so as we have already discussed that chain survey is not usually adopted for an area where high undulations or up and downs are there. Okay, here you can see, okay, because of this, okay, some hill kind of thing, you can't able to see the other end of the line AB. Okay, so you are at point A and you could not able to see the ranging rod at B. Okay, so in such a case, you can't go for the direct ranging. In such a case, we have to do the indirect ranging. Okay, how exactly it is to be done? Okay, so here you can see, okay, so in this, 2 points M1 and N1 are to be selected such that from N1 both M1 and A should be appear, and from M1 both N1 and B must appear. Okay, so in this manner, first of all we have to set or the select the points m1 and n1. Okay, so now the person at n1, okay, directs the person at m1 such that the m1, the ranging rod at m1 should come onto the line an1. Okay, so first of all, here a ranging rod is fixed and here another ranging rod is fixed. Okay, so here two persons will be there holding the ranging rods. Okay, so the person at n1 guides the person at m1 such that the ranging rod come on to the line an1. Okay, so now this ranging rod will be fixed over here and this person guides this person such that this ranging rod come on to the line M to B. Okay, next this ranging rod will be fixed over here and again this person will guide the person over here such that the ranging rod is to be placed next onto the line AN2. Okay, like that towards the line AB. Okay, the movement will be there towards the line AB and finally there will be no movement, no further lateral movement occurs. Okay, in such a case M and N points are placed. Okay, after placing it appears to be like this. Okay, so though it appears to be okay, so these points are placed on uneven surface. Okay, so these all points are not horizontally placed, but if you see from the top they form a line like this. Okay, so this is the process of indirect ranging or reciprocal ranging. Okay, next offsetting. Okay, so lateral measurements to a line. Okay, so if you set a line in a lateral direction to another line is called as an offset. Okay, so you have two types of offset, perpendicular offsets and oblique offsets. Okay, perpendicular offset is the line which makes 90 degrees angle with the main line. Okay, so if the angle is greater than 90 degrees it is called as oblique offset. Okay, and how to set the offsets? Okay, is it only with the cross tabs or any other method is there or any other instruments are there? Okay, so the first basic method is swinging. Okay, so it means suppose on the chain line if you want to set a perpendicular like this from this point. Okay, so if you just swing the chain like this, okay, for various points like this. Okay, so wherever you get the minimum length that will be the perpendicular. Okay, so this is a simple process and which takes more time and sometimes it is inaccurate also. So that's why with the cross tabs and using optical square or prism square we can accurately set the perpendicular offsets. Okay, so if these instruments are not there, okay, we can adopt 3-4-5 method. I will explain in the further slides. Okay, so we have already discussed about this cross tabs in order to set the offsets. Next, using optical or prism square. Okay, so using the prism square or optical square also, so those are the instrument to set the perpendicular offsets. Okay, so in this manner we can set the offsets. So in the 3-4-5 method, for suppose if you want to set a perpendicular offset for the line AB, okay, so at the point C, so here the perpendicular offset is CD for the line AB. Okay, here you can see the AB. For this line you are setting a perpendicular offset over here at the point C. Okay, so for this what you want to do is, so from the point C either towards B or towards A, you have to take the tape or chain up to a distance of 3 meters. Okay, so here in this towards B the point has been located. Okay, so from C let this point is E. Okay, so the CE distance is 3 meters and now so you have to locate a point D such that the point D is at a distance of 4 meters from C and it is at a distance of 5 meters from E. Okay, so you have to take either chain or a tape such that, and you have to move this point such that this point is to be at a distance of 4 meters from C at a distance of 5 meters from E. Okay, you have to locate the point like that, and finally you have to place a ranging rod over there. Okay, so this is how an offset for the line AB can be done using 3-4-5 method. Okay, next, obstacles to chain survey. As we have already discussed, chain survey is not usually done in undulated area or uneven area. Okay, so usually on flat lands only the chain survey is done, but somehow if there is any obstacle, okay, suppose a river came or any pond came or any hill came or any building came in between the chain survey, how to carry out with the survey. Okay, so this thing we have to see. Okay, a few obstacles are only for ranging or chaining, or a few obstacles are for both chaining and ranging. Okay, the first one, obstacles to ranging but not to chaining. Okay, so in this, chaining can be done but ranging cannot be done, which means vision is obstructed. Okay, as we have already seen in the reciprocal ranging, in between a sort of hill is present, so the other end is not appearing. Okay, so in that case what to do? So both the ends of the line may be visible from some intermediate points. Okay, so in that case we have chosen two intermediate points, M1 and N1, and we have carried out with the reciprocal ranging or indirect ranging, and finally we have located MN, okay, on the line AB. Okay, in such a case reciprocal ranging or indirect ranging is adopted. But if the two points are not visible from the intermediate points, in such a case this method is adopted, which is called as random line method. Okay, so this is the line AB. Okay, so if this two points are not visible from any intermediate points, okay, so then you have to draw a random line like this. Okay, making some angle with AB. Okay, you have to take this random line away from the obstacle. Okay, so here the obstacle is the building, you have to take this line away from it. Okay, and you have to locate the points F, G and H on the random line such that FC, GD and HC are the perpendicular offsets to the random line itself. Okay, so what are all the measurable lines in this figure? Okay, so we can measure FC. Okay, GA we can measure, FA we can measure, okay, FC we can measure, HA also measured, FA also can be measured. Okay, using which we have to find GD and HE distances. If once it is done, okay, if GD distance is known and AG distance is known, this distance can be found easily. Okay, so if HE distance is known and AH distance is known, this distance can be found. Okay, so by the similar triangles, these formulas are derived. Okay, if you substitute these lengths, okay, you can get these values and finally you get the distance between these points. Okay, next, obstacles to chaining but not to ranging. It means vision is not obstructed, you can comfortably see the other end, but you can't measure the length between those two points directly. Okay, so here you can see some water body is there, some pond is there in between these two points. Okay, you are carrying out the survey from somewhere from here. Okay, and suddenly this obstacle is came in between, and how to go ahead. Okay, in such a case you have to set a perpendicular offset over here, and you have to make another perpendicular offset such that this distance and this distance are same. Okay, and here this BE distance and CD distance are same. Okay, like this. So EB distance cannot be measured directly, but CD distance can be measured. Okay, as both the distances are same, you can take this distance. Okay, similar kind of methods are adopted. So here a right angle triangle has been formed. Okay, so this distance and this distance can be measured. Okay, using Pythagoras theorem you can find the distance between B and E. Okay, all these are similar kind of methods. Now, when it is not possible to chain round the obstacle, okay. So in the previous case, it is possible to chain round the obstacle, okay. So here it was a closed water body, okay. So here we can able to chain away from the water body, okay, around the water body. And but here it is a river which is having no closed boundary, okay. So in such a case, if a survey line AB is passing through the river, okay, then how to carry on with the survey, okay, how to find the length between G and E, okay. If that is done, then we can move ahead along with the survey, okay. So and how to calculate this, okay, in indirect manner, okay. So in this, okay, so we have to select 2 points on the line AB, E and G, and a line DF is to be set out such that, okay, at F there is a perpendicular. It means DF and GF are perpendicular to each other, and at D there is another perpendicular such that DF and DC are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so it is not that DE and EF are of same length. Okay, these lengths may vary. Okay, but if you observe triangle CDE and EFG, both are similar triangles. Okay, so from this EZ by CE, okay, EZ by CE is equals to EF by ED. Okay, so we want EG distance. So EG is equals to CE into EF by ED. Okay. So we can measure the CE, EF and ED distances. Okay. If you substitute that in this formula, we can easily get the EG distance and we can move ahead with the survey. Next, obstacles to both chaining and ranging. Okay. So if there is any solid obstacle like a building in between, okay, you can't do the chaining and we can't able to see the other end also. Okay, in such a case, it is an obstacle to both chaining and ranging. In such a case, what do we need to do is we have to set a perpendicular at C, okay, and we have to set another perpendicular at G, and we have to go up to a distance such that we have to cross the obstacle and we have to set another perpendicular at K. Okay, so KF and GC, DH and EJ, these distances are same. Okay, so if you want to find the distance between D and E, that distance is equivalent to HJ distance. Okay, DE is equals to HJ. Okay, so in this manner we can carry out with the survey. Next, whatever the observations or measurements that are taken during the chain survey, that are to be recorded in a standard field book. Okay, this field book is of two types, single line field book and double line field book, and these appears to be like this, and the measurements are to be noted down from bottom to top like this. Okay, so if it is a single line field book, the readings are to be noted down across the line, and if it is a double line field book, the readings are to be noted down in between the lines like this. Next, these are all the conventional symbols. Okay, if at all we are preparing a plan of the plot that we have surveyed, okay, along with the lengths of the lines, main stations, auxiliary stations, tie stations, okay, we have to even draw the symbols of various objects on the ground. Okay, suppose if there is any river or canal or any railway crossing or any such kind of thing that is present in and around the surveyed area, okay, those things we need to represent in the field book in this manner. Okay, symbolically we have to represent them. Okay, and for which object what is the symbol. Okay, so those are all listed here. These are all called as conventional symbols. Okay, so here you can see. So with this, the theory part of the chain surveying has been done. Okay, the problematic part of the chain survey has been discussed in the different video. Please watch it. Thank you all.